All right, what's up, everyone? It's your favorite local 16-year-old shit poster on YouTube. And if you've been keeping up with my community tabs, I've actually haven't been shit posting over like the last day because I decided to work on my concept for what I would want to be the ninth entry in a mainline Mario Kart series. As we know, we are approaching wave 6 of the Booster Course Pass, and unless we get Booster Course Pass 2, this may really be it for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And man, what a run it had. And a lot of people are saying that there's literally nowhere they can go from here. But that's where I say Boulder Dash. You can absolutely do more with a new Mario Kart entry. Maybe on like a new system like the Nintendo Switch 2. So what I came up for a name was Mario Kart Limitless. I wanted it to be a name other than just Mario Kart 9 because personally I'm tired of just having number names. I miss when names could be cool and unique like Super Circuit or Double Dash. And while this is only a one word name, I still feel like Limitless is a pretty cool and unique way to subtitle a Mario Kart game. And I designed the logo. I think it looks really nice. And if the logo would look something like that, I think it would be one of the best, if not the best, in the series. Now, for tracks, I wanted to come up with placements for tracks that have never really been done before in the series, as well as like just coming up with some new unique ideas. This stuff is like harder than you think. So here's what I came up with. For the Mushroom Cup, we start with Mario Kart Circuit, which is sort of like the predecessor to, or sort of like the evolution of Mario Kart Stadium from the last game. Then there's Frostbite Town, and which I believe would be the first time that there's ever a snow-themed level in the Mushroom Cup. Then there's Wario Casino. Usually that's sort of like a track you'd expect to see in later cups, but I wanted to put it there to sort of like give the Mushroom Cup some pizzazz. And then there's Swoop Caverns, which is basically just a cave track. Next is the Flower Cup, and I actually wanted to do something unique with the start of this track and sort of do sort of like a throwback to Mario Kart 7, which had Woohoo Loop as the first track in that cup. So I have Pilot Wings, a Pilot Wings themed track as the first track in the Start Cup, followed by Mario Circuit, a track called Stunning Savannah, and then Waluigi Land. I actually got a comment that said that someone had a similar concept called Wario's Wonderland, so why not Waluigi's Wonderland as well? Moving on to the Star Cup, I think that they should have a Mario Odyssey themed track. So Toast Arena Circuit will be the first track of the Star Cup, followed by Mall Ray Aquarium, which would be, I believe, the first ever Mario Kart track to take place in the aquarium. Fast Food Plains, which is sort of like Sweet Sweet Canyon, but fast food. And last but not least, a tire level theme to Donkey Kong Country. This would be a one lap track, like that's not 3 laps, and you'll be exploring the island. It's similar to Yoshi's Island, but Donkey Kong. Now we're gonna get to something interesting, is that the Special Cup is not next. Instead, it's the Egg Cup's next. And that first track there will be 1-1 Circuit, which will basically be a homage to 8-bit Mario, and the entire thing will look 8-bit like. The next track will be Charge and Chuck Stadium, which is basically racing around a football stadium. Luma Station is racing around a space station. And Chibi Robo Kitchen. We've seen Big Bedroom, we've seen Big Bathroom. Now we just need Big Kitchen. And I guess maybe Big Family Room. But I think if they're going to do a Big Kitchen level, they gotta include Chibi Robo in some way. And if they could do that, I think people would love it. And last but not least is the Special Cup. Royal Resort will be the first track, which will have you racing around a resort hotel, maybe exploring a beach and a pool. Then Music Coliseum, the next evolution of Music Park, Bowser's Castle, and then Rainbow Road, like every single Special Cup you're used to. Now moving on to Retros, it's a similar sort of scenario where I'm going to have 5 cups with a Bell Cup that precedes the Lightning Cup instead of it going Leaf straight to Lightning. So first is the Shell Cup, which will start with Mario Circuit 4. If you're anything like me, you're upset with the way the Mario Kart 8 remix of the SNES Mario Circuit theme turned out. So with that, we're going to start with an actual full-on big band remix of Mario Circuit's theme with this remake of the 4th Mario Circuit. Then we're going to have GBA Lakeside Park, which is a track that actually looked pretty good in Tour, and I think they should bring back in a new entry. Then Wii U Wild Wild Woods is one of my personal favorites from the Wii U version of Mario Kart 8. And then we'll finish off with Wii Dry Dry Ruins. With the Banana Cup, we'll start with Frappe Snowland, which I think is deserving of being one of the first N64 tracks to get a second remake. Then comes SNES Koopa Beach, followed by DS Airship Fortress, which I'm still salty isn't in the Booster Course Pass. And with Tour, Singapore Speedway, I wanted to choose one of my favorite Tour City tracks, and I feel like that one fits. Moving on to the Leaf Cup, we have Wii U Shy Guy Falls making a return, followed by Wii Toad's Factory, finally going to get a remix of that theme. 3DS Rosalina's Ice World, and the long-awaited return of Wario Coliseum. With the Bell Cup, we're going to start with Yoshi's Island from the Booster Course Pass and Tour, followed by DS Delfino Square, then the grand return of Mushroom City. If Mushroom Bridge does come back in Wave 6, then they can maybe either create a new remix that's maybe sort of like electronic. That is in the case that the new remix, if they bring back Mushroom Bridge in the Booster Course Pass, isn't big band. And then we end up with one of the best tracks from Mario Kart 7, Maka Woohoo. The Lightning Cup, which will be the final cup, will feature Daisy Circuit to start from Wii, followed by Wii U Electrodrome, and then GBA Bowser's Castle 4. You might be surprised by that placement, but I absolutely loved the remake of that version of the track in Tour. And since it's unlikely we get another GBA track, I think if we got GBA Bowser Castle 4, specifically the version from Tour, that would be awesome. And then finally, we have GCN Rainbow Road. One of the best ones, and I think it would be awesome if that got into the base version of the next Mario Kart. Okay, now let's jump into the DLC for this game. So my concept for the DLC is we have 2 retro Grand Prix and 2 Grand Prix that represent Nintendo franchises. First will be the Tomato Cup, which will feature courses from Kirby, Paper Mario, and Splatoon. The first of which being Green Greens, then Rogueport Raceway, followed by Inkopolis Plaza, and ending with the Howlbird. I think that would be like really cool, racing throughout Meta Knight's ship. That's actually one of my favorite ideas I came up for with these tracks. Next up is the Falcon Cup, which is going to be a cup dedicated entirely to F-Zero, with 2 returning tracks from Mario Kart 8, those being Mute City and Big Blue, with the additions of remakes of White Land and Port Town from the first F-Zero. I personally think that having an entire cup of F-Zero tracks would be really cool, and if Nintendo doesn't want to bring back that franchise at all, then that's the least they could do. Moving on to the retros, I have Luigi's Circuit to start the Spiny Cup. It's a bit basic, but I'm fine with that. I think it makes a good starter course, and besides, we need some Luigi representation in this game. Then will be Frappe Snowland, which could be completely revamped. I mean, the original version sucked, so maybe if they brought it back and remade it, it would be cool. And then N64 Wario Stadium. People have been begging for that track to come back, and it'll finally come back now. And we'll end with Sydney Sprint, another one of my favorite Tour tracks. The Moon Cup will start with 3DS Shy Guy Bazaar, then followed by Wii U Dragon Driftway. DS Bowser Castle will be next, and the entire game will end off with a remake of GBA Rainbow Road, which I think a concept for that would be going inside the Paper Mario Bowser's Castle that's like in the background. I personally think if like that would happen, like maybe it like splits paths and you go up like at the top, that would be one of the coolest ideas for a revamp of a Rainbow Road. Now on to the character selection, and I feel like if the next Mario Kart is going to live up to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it has to at least have one of the best character rosters we've seen yet. So we got kind of new characters such as Poochie, Egad, the Pianas, Gino, characters from Mario Odyssey, and there's a lot of characters who might end up making it in as one of the last 2 characters of the Booster Course Pass, but who knows. Also, my idea is that you start off with the main roster from Super Mario Kart, and that you unlock characters either through Smash style, which will be a new idea, where after you're done a Grand Prix, you race against the character that you're going to unlock to try and get them. Or you can unlock them during the story mode, which I'll be getting to later. And basically the baby characters now are alternates for the main characters, and Rosalina has her Luma back. Another idea I have is that characters can have multiple sort of like skins that you could purchase in a shop. I feel like a shop concept is something that Mario Kart could use to make coins more worth it. And since the coin system is so good in Mario Kart, there won't be really any need for microtransactions, so you won't have to worry about that. I was thinking to be able to make this work, maybe that the coin limit could be increased to 25 instead of 10. So maybe you can use it to purchase kart parts as well. Or maybe even like skins for your karts to give it a bit of design pizzazz, you know? And now for the Nintendo characters, I thought that the Animal Crossing characters should be out of this game just to make room for some new IPs. So returning is the Inklings and Link, and making their Mario Kart debuts are Kirby, who will be featured in DLC, Chibi Robo, who will actually be a part of the base game as an unlockable character, and then last characters for the DLC would be Paper Mario and Captain Falcon. And maybe some of the other characters that are higher there could also be DLC, like maybe have Eat Gad and the Pianas be DLC. I forgot to mention Gino and Goomba are also playable characters. And on the right, you can see the limit meter. And that's what the name is going to be named after. It's going to be the new gimmick, the defining gimmick of this entry, in which it sort of like incorporates the trick system from Mario Kart Tour, but instead of giving you points, it fills up a meter that once fully filled, you can use a character ability, character-specific ability. Like if it's Mario, it could be like throwing crazy fireballs. If it's like Peach, it could be like whacking everyone in sight with like an umbrella or something. It could really be anything. And basically the catch is you get it, but if you get hit by an item, then you lose a significant chunk of that meter. So you want to try and get hit as little as possible. And that's what kind of makes it like not broken, like say if you're in like first. Because people in first place are prone to getting hit by items a lot. So even like a lightning strike could diminish your meter. So I feel like that would make it a balanced mechanic. Now on to battle mode, which I feel is an often overlooked aspect of a lot of Mario Kart games. Of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe completely revamped 8's terrible, absolutely awful battle mode. So with this version, it will bring back 4 modes from Mario Kart 8, that being Balloon Battle, Renegade Roundup, the Babal mode, and the Get the Shine mode. And new battle modes will be Shell Tag, in which it's sort of like it kind of takes like the tail tag concept from Fall Guys, but applies them with shells, where basically you want to get a half of the players to have like a tag on them. And the way you play the tag is with the shells. So you can get like green shells, red shells, it's a shell only mode. And lastly is Item Rain, which is an idea I came up with. There are no item boxes, but instead it's items like shells, bombs, and heck, even like stars falling out of the sky. So you gotta try and avoid the bad items that will make you get hit, and you need to try to get the good items that will give you an advantage. For courses, I wanted there to also be more battle tracks than any other Mario game before. So with original tracks, I think there should be some more Odyssey representation. So the Wooded Kingdom will be a battle track, followed by Mushroom Street, Gusty Gateway, which will be a homage to Mario Galaxy, of course. Then there's Nintendo Switch, which is sort of like a throwback to the days when Nintendo would make their literal consoles battle tracks. And lastly, Death Mountain, which will be a battle track based on Zelda. And I feel like Zelda should have a battle track if he wants to return. He needs to have some sort of representation in the game if he wants to return again. For retros, I'm bringing back Double Deck, GBA Battle Course 2, GCN Block City, Wii Funky Stadium, my personal favorite, 3DS Honeybee Hive, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's Sweet Sweet Kingdom. And last but not least, the bomb car mechanic from Mario Kart 64 will be returning as an option. So the last part of my concept showcase will be the overall modes that will be featured in the game. So we have your usual Grand Prix, Time Trials, Versus, Battle. Obviously there will also be an online mode and maybe like a net play mode. And new to this game is going to be the series' first ever story mode, which will take aspects of something like Mario Kart DS's mission mode and increase them tenfold. There will be a total of 7 different worlds, maybe even like 8 different worlds. Yeah, I don't really have that entire aspect fleshed out because I don't feel like designing an entire story mode map. But basically, there will be a story mode, and it will be sort of like a continuation of the mission mode from Mario Kart DS. And you can play as any of the main characters that you have unlocked so far. So, like, if you want to start story mode right away, you're gonna have to choose between like the main 8 characters that you start off with. Yes, that also includes Donkey Kong Jr. And then we have the shop mode, which I said you can use to purchase skins for characters and car parts and, skins for carts. Then you have a sound test area. If there's one thing I always wanted in a Mario Kart game is an area for you to be able to listen to the soundtrack. And then there's the settings mode, which you can actually use if you want like race with like no sound effects or like anything. You can actually change the settings in this game. And I'm surprised there have been no other Mario Karts that have done that. And that's Mario Kart Limitless. If you want to see more content like this, make sure to subscribe. Maybe keep in touch with my community posts. And yeah, that's about it. Peace.